Yokoso, Yokoso, Yokoso. Just checking the mic there. Yes, welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, one and all. It's another Monday. That can only mean it's a Sunday. What is it, Sunday? No, it's the Stadia Monday Night Chat, episode 102, people. I'm your host, Clive Illenden. Of course I am. I hope you are good. I hope you are well, ladies and gentlemen. And it's lovely to see those in the chat already. Lovely to see people in the chat already partaking in the chat. Always lovely to see. And I really, really appreciate that. As ever, ladies and gentlemen, as ever, we have a packed show for you tonight. Don't we ever? Don't we always? Yes, of course we do. We like to deliver content to you, go in depth, deep dive, and all of that. We're going to be looking at all the Stadia news, the Stadia game announcements, rumors, opinions, all of that. And of course, the big news from last week's Google for Games Developer Summit 2022, what it all means for Stadia and the future of Stadia and cloud gaming in general, I guess, and all of that. So stay locked in, dialed in here for that, ladies and gentlemen, a little bit later. Anyway, before all of that, of course, you know what to do. Don't forget to hit the likes because I like it. YouTube likes it. And it helps lovely, lovely people like you find amazing Stadia content like this. And if you are new, welcome, good sir, good madam, welcome. Please consider hitting the subscribe button, toggling that notification bell, and then you'll always know when I go live with amazing Stadia content like this, ladies and gentlemen, like this. Of course, in the chat, let me know what games you've been playing this week. Have you been playing Mad Streets? All of that, get it in the chat. And also any kind of thoughts that you might have about the Google for Games Developer Summit, your thoughts and things like that. Take part in the fun little poll we've got going in there. Put your responses down there. Get involved. It is the Stadia Monday Night Chat. Yeah, chat. So talking of chat, let's stage dive into the front row and see who catches me first, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see who is in there. Hey, Mr. Bayram, thank you for joining us tonight. I'm glad you like the little preview I do. Yeah, I'm professional. We like to put a little preview trailer. Just a little bit of extra polish for you there. Jerry, how are you, sir? Victor, lovely to see you. Christopher, always listening. Torres, Sednar. Hey, Captain. Good to see you. Jamie. Bud in the house. Jerome, good to see you there. Liam, yes, Parmeter, and the Elden Ring petition for Stadia. Yes, I'm aware. Get your names down on the petition there for that. And as Jerome says, make sure you hit the likes and all of that. Let me know what games, as I say, you've been playing. Crow Rosine. Hello, sir. Good to see you. Hey, all indeed. Let's clear that. Right. What have I been playing? Well, I've not been playing a lot again. And part of it is that my son hogs Stadia now. He just plays FIFA. I thought it was a blessing when I, suddenly convinced, my son suddenly showed an interest in Stadia because it had FIFA. Now when he's here, I don't get a game in. It sits there constantly sorting out his squads. And now he's sort of brave enough to start playing division levels. So he's playing other people now as well. Just started doing that, moving up the divisions and stuff. But anyway, the upshot is I don't get to play as much. Other than FIFA, when he hands the controller to me and just you finish off that half while I go off somewhere for a minute. Like, okay. Anyway. But yeah, so I would like to be playing more, but I've just been so busy. And then whenever I'm ready up for it, he's sitting in front of the LG C1, pulls the chair right in front of the screen. So no one else can see the screen, just sits there. FIFA. Anyway, there we go. That's what I've been playing, ladies and gentlemen. Elden Ring would indeed be nice to see there. Ghost Recon Breakpoint. Hey, Francisco Suarez. Hello. How are you? Madden 22, you see? They're similar, see? Valhalla. Yes, indeed. We're going to have to wait to see whether developers bite. Well, I do have a family account. The problem is, one, I can't play. My broadband is perfect for one sort of session of Stadia, as it were. One person playing Stadia. Two people in the house doesn't work. And secondly, he started playing FIFA on my account at the time, and now there's no going back for him. So he has his own account, but his FIFA account is on my account, and he doesn't want to start again. So, you know, there we are. Jedi. I had a few issues on Jedi, but I got through it. I finished it in the end. Oh, some Ks and some Darksiders. See, so many games I need to be playing, ladies and gentlemen. So many games. Anyway, let's get to the news, mobile, ladies and gentlemen. Spelt up, strap in. There was, of course, a community Stadia blog last week. Of course, there was. There it is. And, well, so we had the official announcement of Elemental 2 War. So we'd spotted this on the developers' website, Clockwise, aren't they? They were called Clockwork. Yeah, Clockwork Origins. So we've mentioned this was coming to Stadia many weeks ago. You see, if you watch, those that are regular know that we get these little tips and gossips and hints of games that are coming way before they arrive. Don't worry about that. Anyway, we got. So we announced, because it was on the developer's website, Elemental 2 War was coming to Stadia. And now officially Stadia have announced it. So today we're highlighting 2 new games launching on Stadia in May. In May, ladies and gentlemen. So Lamote, the Master Chronicles from our friends at Wired Productions. More on them later. Obviously we've got Deliver Us the Moon, also from Wired Productions coming. Now, the interesting thing here is, in this blog post, Lamote, the Mastermote Chronicles arrives on May the 1st. May the 1st, ladies and gentlemen. It's worth pointing out that this was due in March. Originally, Lamote was due in March, but then got delayed here. An announcement here. Lamote, the Mastermote Chronicles confirmed for 21st of April launch. Lamote, the Master Chronicles will now launch on the 21st of April for Nintendo Switch, PC, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, blah, 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 heading to Stadia in the not too distant future. So, it got slightly delayed, but what is interesting, 1st of May, ladies and gentlemen, a game arriving on the 1st of May, a little bit after its initial release. All sounds a bit of a coincidence to me. Are we looking at a May Pro title? I wouldn't say no. And it would be interesting to see if Wired Productions are experimenting with Pro titles. What do we think? Do we think we've spotted a May Pro title in the wild here? Because the 1st of May, when we know it's coming out on the other platforms about a week or so before, seems like a bit of a coincidence. Anyway, Lamote, as you know, is a squishy bop and bounce through great depths, an underwater world filled with moats, bioluminescent creatures who spend their lives deep in the bioverse, living on the rhythms of an electronica soundscape. So a bit of music, electronica, beautiful lighting, puzzles, the works. So this could be, and it does look lovely, looks really imaginative, really clever. This does strike me. Go full screen there. I think this is a pro title. Let's call it, yeah? Heads up, yeah. Hedge your bets, mate. I think it's going to be a pro title anyway. Let me know if you're looking for that. Release date May on Stadia, that is. Release date on Stadia, not on other platforms. releasing a week earlier on other platforms. So May the 1st, hello, I think it's a pro title. Elemental War 2. I love I knew the blog posts. They have these little rectangle slide bits in of pictures. It's sort of obviously a theme that they're doing now on the Stadia blog post, highlighting the key elements: cute character, massive world, complex and evolving puzzles, electronica sounds, a soundscape, powered by our engine, and a photo mode as well. Get those lovely shots in. And of course, the other title, again, as I say, we announced that it was coming to Stadia. We just weren't sure when. It has a release date here of May the 6th. And this is very much a sort of defense game. Yeah, popular tower defense game. Bit like Orcs Must Die meets Rock of Ages, I guess. That kind of style. My son used to play with his mate Balloon Monkeys. Oh my God, they used to play that so much. Another defense tower style game. Anyway, Elemental War 2 takes you into a threatened world, hordes of monsters. Some of these monsters remind me of Serious Sam, graphically. You know, sort of a bit okay, but not that imaginative. There's a sort of Serious Sam vibe to some of the monster designs there. Anyway, takes you into the threatened world. Hordes of monsters suddenly pour out of the abyss of hell from a faulty summoned portal. Will you manage to build a defense line of defense towers against the forces of evil in time? Who knows? And basically you unlock elements. Every time you beat a kind of a big beastie, you unlock elements. And that gives you can use that element to build even better towers, and then a bigger beastie comes along, and so on and so on and so on. Again, I'm not a massive fan of tower defense games, but they have their place. Didn't Stadia accidentally leak it was a pro and then deleted it? I think they may have. They may have just let, the cat out of the bag a bit early. But I still think it's going to be a pro title because we haven't even got the April Pro ones yet. Could see that this week. But there we go. So that was, ladies and gentlemen, the blog post. Again, to 2 games coming in May, just piling them up there. Always good to see. Also, ladies and gentlemen, let's clear that. Do we have a new game as yet from Wired Productions? Talking of Wired Productions, so we've talked about Wired Productions, who are bringing us Deliver Us the Moon, and some other titles. They're trying to deliver most of their catalogue to Stadia. And they hinted at an unannounced game, ladies and gentlemen. So this is from Wired Productions. Morning, gamers. Pay attention to our socials this week. Some competitions, some beginning, plenty of Wired live content and convention hype for WASD, WASD, with the old keys, and PAX East. So that's like an indie festival going on. It's actually in London, the WASD in London. Might even drop a tease about an unannounced game or 2 somewhere. So on the basis that Wired Productions seem to, as I say, their ambition is to bring as much of their catalogue to Stadia as possible. Plus, we know they're a partner in the new low-end porting thing, which we're going to come to later. Could it be that we've got this unannounced game from Wired Productions coming to Stadia? Watch this space, ladies and gentlemen, as they say. Watch this space. Very exciting. Also, the developer, so that was the publisher, Wired Productions, but the developer of Deliver Us the Moon was interviewed in a lovely interview for Four Scars Gaming, the Stadium Connect, part of the Stadium Connect interview with the developer of Deliver Us the Moon. And they said some interesting things. Let me just go here. That's the wrong one. Here we go. Oh, we don't need an ad. Oh, no, we don't want that. Come on. Right, so they said interesting things here.
Okay.
There's also a couple of other interesting things that Wired can share very soon. So
That's
gonna be...
interesting. Okay, so we'll leave it at that. We won't try and
Let me just replay a bit so you can hear what you were saying.
that was coming out next month in April. But keen listeners here on the Stadia community listening to the Wired Productions podcast heard, I believe it was Fletch,
so talking about the launch
that there was announced April 22nd being the
April 22nd being the launch date of Deliver Us the Moon.
Yeah, that's what I heard in the Wired podcast. And also I listened to the Wired podcast where you guys were on with them as well the other day. So
I don't actually know. So
okay.
There's a couple of things
they're taking care of that. Yeah,
coming up here.
But honestly, if you've heard that, then I have yet to check about that. But
okay,
there's also a couple of other interesting things that Wired can share very soon. So
So a couple of interesting things. A couple of interesting things that Wired can share very soon. So is this tweet about dropping an unannounced game or two somewhere, and this statement from Kyoken Interactive, who made Deliver Us the Moon, connected. Incoming announcement, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I think we've got here, an incoming announcement. So as I say, watch this space, ladies and gentlemen. Also, the interesting thing, I highly recommend watching that interview with Kyoken Interactive by John and the gang there on the Stadium North Connect, Stadium Connect North. I highly recommend watching it because there's some really interesting bits of information from them. And one of them was that Deliver Us the Moon was not ported as part of the new low-end port change thingamajig that was announced at the Google for Games Developer Summit, which we'll come to, which a lot of people assumed, even I assumed, because Wired Productions are one of those partners, and we'll come to that in more detail. But they said that they'd been, it was basically an old school port. They did it the hard way before this new porting tech was available to them. So they've been working on the game for ages, and I think they started, had Stadia in mind last year on it. So they're not using the low change porting technique that is now available to them. They wish it was. And they said, yeah, it was difficult to port to Stadia, but not as difficult as it is to port, natively to console versions. So they were saying Stadia's, it's a port process. Porting processes are not easy, full stop. But porting to Stadia is a lot easier than porting to PlayStation or Xbox, according to their particular case in Deliver Us the Moon. Also, I think that in that interview, they hinted they're working on a new project as yet unannounced. And again, turns out that the developer is a massive Stadia fan. In fact, he is a Stadia founder. He has a Stadia Founder Edition, and it wasn't just out of curiosity. He's been playing it ever since it launched in November 2019. He's always been a big fan of Stadia, which is great to see from a developer. And he says that he uses it quite often. And he considers Stadia the best in terms of just accessibility, which is why he's got young kids, like many people do, and just that kind of diving in and playing. No kind of messing about, just click and play. It's really cool. And then the other thing that he mentioned in there is the one great thing about Stadia from a developer's point of view and a publisher's point of view, especially indies, is discovery. And we've heard it, we've talked about it on this show. I've heard other people talk about it. You get lost. If you're an indie and you launch on, Switch, there's loads of indies, it gets lost in there. The big consoles, it gets lost. You launch on Stadia, we know what the Stadia community is like. It gets a lot of love and attention. And discovery is absolutely key and crucial to indies. So that's what he was talking about. I highly recommend you check out that interview that John Scars did with Ninja Guy X, MM2K, and PSX Fletch on the Stadium Connect. Definitely check it out. Well worth it. And some interesting bits that came from that. In other news, so Rainbow Six Siege, which got free trial at the moment. You can play it now. Demon Veil is alive, which means Azami is finally here. Get early access to Azami, tons of exclusive skins, and the brand new Bravo packs with the premium battle pass. So the first of the year 7 battle passes with Azami here is available, and a little kind of throwing dagger. That's a proper jacket. Throw a dagger. Anyway, it's available now. And of course, you can play until the 24th for free. Give it a go. More on the free trials, of course, later, ladies and gentlemen. More on the free trials later. In wine country, ladies and gentlemen, Napa Valley, the DLC for 100 days is coming to Stadia. March the 24th, ladies and gentlemen, 11 a.m. Pacific time, Napa Valley, something we've been waiting for, the DLC for 100 days, the wine simulator game, along with an update for 100 days. So you expect that later this week, Napa Valley DLC coming to 100 days. So if you're a big fan of 100 days, check that out. Check that out. And also, could we have a clue, ladies and gentlemen? Could we have a clue that World War Z? Where's World War Z? World War Z. I am English after all. World War Z. Where is World War Z? Well, it could be coming. Free update. So on the main platform for Zon, there's been this massive update. Free cut and mend update now available. Earn unlockable weapons, like the new sword, advanced combat variant, plus new class perks, loadouts, adrenaline boosts, trinkets and more. So it looks like there's been quite a big update to World War Z. So is that something that we've been waiting for? Actually, I just want to note that. Note this logo. Yeah. Note the logo behind my head. Yeah. Saber. When you write that down, make a mental note. Saber. Anyway. So we're due. It's pending any time. We've got Stadia Pro title announcements. Probably could be the end of this week. Could be this week. Could be tomorrow. It's one of those things. Is it too far out from the 1st of April? Could they squeeze it in? Still the end of March, next Tuesday? The Pro title announcements? Could World War Z be it? Now they've done the update, it would make sense. Maybe that's what we were waiting for. I don't know. I'm just speculating. Could we see it very, very soon? Again, speculating. Okay, let's talk about, actually, before there is something else, and I didn't put it here. I know who will have it. Let's just, I think I missed something. Quickly, just double check. No, we're good. We're good. I'm happy. I'm happy. We are now going to go full throttle, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry if the audio was drowning me out. Sorry about that. We're going to go full throttle. Always forget to press the desktop off. Right. Let us talk about, ladies and gentlemen, let us talk about the Google for Games Developer Summit. Okay. Let's talk about the takeaways and all of that. What were the big takeaways from the Google for Games Developer Summit? What leaves us optimistic? All of those things. So last week, I explained that what I was expecting from the Google for Games Developer Summit when it comes to Stadia, basing it on what we had last year, okay? And basically, I said we would break down to a bit of business. Remember, this is aimed at developers and publishers. A bit of business. How's it going to make the Stadia business appeal to developers and publishers? You know, the business model. What makes sense from a business point of view? What makes it appetizing? So that's the business side. And then the development side as well. Yeah. So the why should you be coming to Stadia? Yeah, from a business point of view. And then how you can come to Stadia from a development point of view. Yeah. And a bit of those cross over because there is a part of the business decision is how easy it is to get onto Stadia. So those are the two main things I expected from Stadia. And to be honest, that is what we've got. So that's how I explained. Now, before we sort of really deep dive into it, I think it's worth going back to what Phil Harrison said back in June 2019. Now, I've shown this clip before, and I don't mind showing it again, to be honest. So I'm going to just pull that up.
Now, I'm sure you've all used Google before, but Google Stadia, that's something brand new. And here to tell us about it is
not that.
The vice. And I know you have.
Okay, well, I've got the quote anyway. I'm not going to show the whole thing. But basically, he talks at length about, Phil Harrison talks back in there in June 2019 about Stadia just being a link with Google's and a click. Yeah. And just to, you know, how, and that's ultimately what it is. And that's the game changer. It's not about having a box, you know, in a shop or anything like that. It's literally a link you can share on Twitter or, you know, social media and things like that. And that's what he talked about way back in June 2019. And there's a article here that he went on here. And so we've got this article in Variety magazine, again from March 2019. Head of Google Stadia discusses the reality of its dream. And he talks about here about the game is a link. The game is a link. That in itself is a revolution in the games industry. The idea you could play a game, love it, send me a text message. All right, boomer. Send me a WhatsApp message or something and say, try this, and I can just click on that link. I don't need to install anything. I don't need to download anything. I don't need to have any custom hardware to play it. That is mind-blowing for developers. It's just a link. This was way back in March 2019. March 2019, when Phil Harrison was talking about this. And now we're really seeing that. One of the problems really, up until now, effectively, is that, yeah, it was a link, but you were always met with, if you shared a link with somebody, it would say, okay, yeah, sure, sign in, sign up, and then you can play. It wasn't quite that sort of seamless as the dream, as the aspiration, as the vision. But one of the major takeaways from the Developer Summit was a real focus that you don't have to sign in to play. You can browse the store. Yeah, this to me is like amazing, really. This is one of the biggest takeaways, just the ability to browse the Stadia store without having to log into your account, anything like that. You could just browse the store, which thus means it's like a shop window. Yeah, and a shop window is more likely to get people in than a shop window with its curtains drawn, and you have to then go into the shop to see what's in there. You're more likely to be drawn into the shop if you look in the shop window and go, "Oh, Cyberpunk! Didn't know that was there. Might go and have a look." Yeah. So this is what this is one of the main takeaways, is that they're making the store available to everybody to look at and browse and have a look at and see what's there. And to me, that's like really obvious stuff. And it strikes me odd that it's taken so long, but hey, look, we're here, and that's amazing, and that's a great thing, and one I'm looking forward to. But what that does mean is that this idea that you can just share a link straight to that games page, straight to that game, is a reality. And then that means developers can start sticking that link on their websites, and you click it and you go straight to the Stadia store and play their game, or click on the game. And it's just such a simple thing. It's such a simple, obvious thing, and yet it makes kind of massive difference, as I said. And this is very much was the vision way back in March 2019, as outlined by, as I say, by Phil Harrison way back then. So for me, that is one of the exciting takeaways. The other thing as well that they mentioned is obviously the free trials. Again, a free trial is just a case of a publisher or developer basically sending an email to Stadia and going, yeah, could you give us a free trial for 20 minutes? Just checking the speakers there. Yeah. Again, the fact that you don't have to log in, sign in, this just makes it very, very easy to access, and it lowers the friction that you have trying to kind of, get into Stadia and things like that. And already, they've got Risk of Rain 2, but already it seems, just pausing it there, that developers and publishers are already jumping in on this as well, because we've got examples where there are a number of free trials now that you can come and try. So finally, in 2022, you can browse the Stadia store without having to log in or create a Stadia account. As I said, this is massive. It's like a shop window. People just like to see what's there, and I tell you what, find something you like, you're in there. And I'll tell you what, people who don't know what Stadia is, or aren't familiar with Stadia or have misconceptions about Stadia, I think will pleasantly surprised when they look into the store. Because there's 250 games in that store, over 250 games in that store right now. And this opens up the Google game pages to Google search as well. I mean, Google search. Because previously, if you search for a game and then you say clicked on it and then you just came to the Stadia store, oh, please sign up to get in, it's not going to work. But now the games are discoverable in Google search. That's massive. Absolutely massive. Google is a search company. Of course, that's massive. And this is very much aimed at the partners. So developers and publishers were encouraged to use those unique click-to-play links. That was very much part and parcel of what Stadia was talking about and aiming at. And the play trials that they've got going. We look already, again, it was Risk to Reign 2 was one of the trials, but already, if we have a look at this tweet from Grime, jumping straight in, not messing about. You can now play Grime anywhere. You can read this tweet for up to 2 hours for absolutely free with Stadia. No registration required. Had fun. Grime is also in the sale. Play now. A perfect example of exactly what they were saying at play. I think that Grime is absolutely summarizing the brilliance of this. You can play Grime anywhere. You can read this tweet. That's a great marketing line in itself. You can play Grime anywhere. You can read this tweet for up to 2 hours. That Grime here have hit it exactly on the head there. That is a perfect example of how powerful having the link in the social media is. Basically, anywhere you can read this tweet, you can actually play this game. You just have to tell Stadia how long you want to make the game available to customers, and they do the rest. This makes it even more appetizing for publishers and developers. And they're not the only one. If we look already who's jumping on board, MM2K, tweeted this out. And you can see already here, you've got Grime, MotoGP. Yeah, you've got Paw Patrol, Risk of Rain 2, Steam Dig 2, Jackbox 8, and Ease. Monstros. Where it's called. Monstrous Nox. Ease 9. Monstrum Nox. Already. And I believe the Stadia store, in fact, if I go to Stadia store now, look, has already got a section in it. Trials. And there they are. So the trial section is already set up in the store, and it's also on the phone app as well. So this is within a week of them announcing and saying we've got Risk of Rain 2 as a trial. Already, Jackbox Party going, yeah, we'll have some of that. Grime going, yeah, we'll have some of that. MotoGP going, yeah, we'll have some. Outright Games, yeah, we'll have some. Already. And we're just going to see more. You know, this is within a week. And they're going to just roll this out to many more people over the next few months. So, yeah, this is awesome, I think. This is really powerful stuff from Stadia. And I think we'll start seeing momentum because most of the people, you know, most of you guys know, you try Stadia, people are pleasantly surprised. And so whenever you see people saying, oh, no, Stadia, no, I can't be bothered. It doesn't work. Apparently it doesn't work. I'm not interested. You can say, look, just try it. Yeah, but I don't want to sign. I have to sign up and put my name. No, just try it. And we know that the majority of people, you know, with the right internet connection, which doesn't have to be amazing, 35 megabits per second or above will give you a really, really good experience. The majority of people will have a great experience. And now there's no excuse. There's no friction. Yeah. Like just literally click a link. As I say, we've already seen these free trials pick up within less than a week. We've got these, 6 on there already. Bear in mind, they only announced 1. We saw Grime jump in with that brilliant tweet, if I do say so myself. A brilliant tweet saying, I mean, that you think about it, I just love that tweet. Wherever you can read this tweet, you can play this game. That's exactly what Phil was talking about in that variety here, when he said, send me a text message and say, try this. Well, of course, literally, send me a tweet and try this. That tweet by the Grime game is this coming to life, coming to fruition. This exact statement from whatever it was, 2.5 years ago. This is what's exciting to me about the announcements at the Developer Summit. It looks like they're really getting their eggs in a row. You know, they're getting their ducks in a row here, really getting things kind of sorted. So there we go. So we've got a store that you can browse without having to sign up or log in. You've got free trials, right? Which is being rolled out to every developer from June 2022. So any developer or publisher can go, yeah, we like a free trial. How long for? 60 minutes. Done. Free trial up. Yeah? And the more you have that, the more it's like literally you're telling people, oh, give it a free trial. Yeah? You're taking away that friction of entry. You know, and next time someone on Reddit goes, I'm thinking of buying the Stadia, boom, you go. After first correcting their stupidity on, you don't buy a Stadia, doofus. Here, try this link, page for free trials, just click and play, no sign up, see if it's for you. Never has Bill from Nerdnest's quote when he said, you already have Stadia, genius, been more true. Yeah, we've always had Stadia, just stadia.com. Oh, but I have to sign up. No, you can have a look now. And Google have the data to back up that the engagement that this creates for publishers. Yeah, a plus 35% click-through when you go try this game for free, plus 35% click-through, and a 70% player engagement. So once they've clicked through, 70% of people then engage with it. This offer for free trials is for all partners from Stadia from from 2022. So this year, we can see they're rolling it out. It's not fully rolled out yet, but they're rolling it out. We've already seen publishers and developers jump on it. Yeah. But finding games is great. Yeah, that's great. But how do they make it easier to get the games on the platform, ladies and gentlemen? How do they make it easier? Well, it's with the developer tools. That's what they talked about yet. Low change porting was the next thing. Yeah. Now, the key word here is they talked about Stadia continuing to develop, and that's the key word, continuing to develop the developer tools. They talked last year about trying to improve the porting process and the QA process, and they have, and they brought it up to date. Making it easier to get games on Stadia with low change porting. We now know that they're testing these with a group of partners. And that's why I said here, remember that logo, Sabre there. If I go large, you see that logo? So Sabre is bringing us World War Z. Legacy Games, Adam Wolf. Team 17, Overcooked. Wired Productions, Deliver Us the Moon, although not ported using low change porting. So other games that they're working on. Handy Games. This one that's a snake is Nacon logo. I think it's the Nacon logo. And then Steel Wool Studios, which is very exciting because, so of all these, so Nacon are bringing Zorro, the Chronicles of Zorro. You've got Handy Games. So all of these have already got games either announced. You've got Milestone with MotoGP. All of these have got games already announced for Stadia, already on Stadia, except for Steel Wool Games. And what does Steel Wool Games make? I nearly forgot this. Just remembered. Five Nights at Freddy's, I think you'll find, yeah? Let's have a quick look at Stillwell Studios and you can check it out. Five Nights at Freddy's security breach. So, could we see Five Nights at Freddy's on Google Stadia? It seems that it's their most well-known game. So there's security breach, Five Nights at Freddy's security breach, and Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted. This is their most popular game. So is it this game that Stillwell Studios is porting to Stadia? Yeah, because of all those developers that I highlighted here, they've all, as I said, they've all got games either announced already on Stadia, apart from Stillwell Games. And Stillwell Games make Five Nights at Freddy's. So it's not a massive leap to suggest Five Nights at Freddy's could be coming to Stadia. And then to bring this all together, ladies and gentlemen, bringing it all together, they re-emphasize the affiliate marketing program with the free trials and click to play links with no initial sign up. Just pause it there. So they talked about this last year, offering an affiliate marketing program, but now it makes so much sense if you're a developer or publisher, because how do you get people to sign up for Stadia? Well, get them to try your game. And now there's no barrier to entry. So we know that you send them a click, there's 35% plus chance people are going to click on that and play that game. And there's 70%, once they've clicked on that link, a 70 plus chance they're going to play the game. Yeah. And be engaged, which highly increases the chances of them subscribing to Stadia. Once they've had a look and ran the store, once they've seen there's 50 plus games on Stadia Pro, which means if they subscribe and pay for a month, so they get their free month, and then the next month they pay for it, you as a publisher get $10 per player. Now, for some indie developers, for some developers, that's more they're going to get from a game, depending on what they're selling that game at. So this is a great way, especially with the free to click trials and to say no friction to try and you know, explore the Stadia store. Suddenly this affiliate marketing program really makes sense. So the business side and the development side all coming together, and this is going to be expanded out to everybody in the, you know, in publisher developer world in June 2022. So they're rolling it out now, I think, probably approaching people dealing with it, or probably making it available actually from that point on. That's probably how they roll it out. From that point on, from June 2022. Well, this is an expansion, so actually maybe they're just expanding it out. So there we go. For Stadia, you've got again, just as last year, you've got the business side and the development side coming together to make and incentivize publishers and developers to come to Stadia. Has it moved the needle? Yes. Has it moved the needle massively? Time will tell. Does it solve the issue for, you know, those big AAA games? I don't think it has much impact on those, to be honest, because those AAA games are either going to come to Stadia or they're not. But everything below that, and let's not dismiss anything below that. There's plenty of amazing AA games. There's plenty of amazing indie games will benefit much more acutely from all these changes that were announced at the Google for Games Developer Summit. Meanwhile, ladies and gentlemen, over at Google Cloud, the direct-to-consumer offering was announced. Yeah, officially, finally, the direct-to-consumer offer. Yeah, and it was given the name Immersive Stream for Games, ladies and gentlemen, Immersive Stream for Games. Let's just get to that bit. Yeah, so just look at what they offer here. So this is the Google Cloud. So this sits under Google Cloud. We know that the games side of Google Cloud, so this is supporting multiplayer games, developer tools, not necessarily all Stadia related. This is hosting multiplayer games. So they have that partnership with 2K to provide multiplayer platform tools. So it's about driving business for Google Cloud. And now the direct-to-consumer offering using the Stadia tech is very much part of that. That's why Jack Buser, who is the head of Google Cloud for gaming, was part of the keynote speech. Now they're offering this amazing tech that we all love and know with Stadia to their partners, exactly as they said they would be. But now it's got an official name. Yeah. It uses all the tools they've developed for Stadia, the porting. Yeah. And it maximizes the return on investment that Google have made in those tools now. Yeah. Again, if we go back to 2019 in that interview, in that interview with Phil Harrison, where he directly said, I will play it for you actually. He said, when asked, could a publisher have their own store? And Phil Harrison says, yeah, absolutely they could.
Your subscriptions, you said there may be publisher subscriptions that could kind of live on top of it. Would you ever allow
The adverts.
publishers to have their own stores on Stadia to sell games to people as well?
We almost enable that by default because on Stadia, a game is just a link.
Right.
And so
Just a
whether you
link.
discover that game through our store or the publisher's store or Twitter or Facebook or Discord or whatever.
Or Twitter, exactly as Grime. Yeah. Whether you discover the link through Twitter, exactly as Grime did.
Channel, it's easy to discover and propagate games.
So conceivably, you could have like a Steam or Epic store inside Stadia selling games to people?
Or it could be
publisher
outside of
directly,
Stadia, but ultimately it's just a link, so it sends the gamer to play the game on our platform.
So there we are. So it could sit outside Stadia. It's just a link playing it on the platform. There we go. Again, this is way back. This is Phil Harrison talking way back in June 2019. It looks it's all coming together exactly as he said, ladies and gentlemen, exactly as was discussed. So let us be very clear here. There is a very distinction to be made here. And Google themselves are making this distinction. Absolutely. Let's just be really clear about this distinction between the Google Cloud offering, the direct-to-consumer offering, immersive stream for games, as it's called, right? Don't ever say the word white labeling my presence, right? You're banned, right? Immersive stream for games, the direct-to-consumer offering, on one side, sitting under Google Cloud operation, driving revenue for Google Cloud. Big push for the Alphabet Group, driving revenue for Google Cloud. Here is another set of tools that they can offer the gaming industry to host their games using amazing Stadia tech, basically, that Google have developed. And on the other side, you've got the Stadia Store, both powered by the same tech. Two different propositions, but powered by the same tech. And that's the key thing, which means that Google Cloud, Google will continue to invest in that tech. And who will benefit from that? Well, the partners who use immersive stream for games, they'll benefit from that. Who else will benefit from that? Stadia, Stadia Store, which apparently sits under subscriptions within the Google family. To just like Google Play or that kind of stuff. That's where it sits. It's not going anywhere. But the big question is, who do we expect to see take advantage of immersive stream for games? We've already seen there's an initial pilot trial with AT&T in the Batman Arkham, with another game that AT&T are bringing out. Most likely another Warner Brothers game coming soon. So watch this space. But what about the rumored Capcom? What about EA? Are we likely to see them using this technology? And let's not forget, ladies and gentlemen, this is not a one-size-fits-all proposition. It's not a straight white label in the basic sense. You could see hybrid models here, where the store, say, sits on a publisher's site and it's fully branded and fully labeled, say, fully labeled Capcom, yeah, or EA, or works as a channel and an additional store that sits within the existing Stadia store, where games are maybe free if you sign up to AT&T, but could those games then be bought through the Stadia store? So there's lots of mixed uses for this. It's not just like we're offering a full white label, because that's what they're not. They're not offering a white label service. They're offering the tech, and the tech can be used in different ways. So it's much more nuanced than that. I think it's much more layered. It could just be a straight alternative store, fully branded, Capcom, whatever. Could be a channel on Stadia Store, like Luna do with their channels. Ubisoft Plus, Capcom, EA. Could be any of those. I think the idea is to be as flexible and adaptable as possible to make the most of this amazing tech that Google has developed for Stadia. And remember, the more partners who use this tech, the more the tech will be developed and refined, and the more Stadia will benefit from it. So overall, I think it's very encouraging from Stadia. And in a way, I'm pleased. Nay, I'm relieved that they finally announced the direct-to-consumer offering that is immersive stream for games. This is one of the biggest things for me, because it's no longer a rumor, or apparently I've heard, oh, they're going to sell their tech. They don't sell their tech. They license the tech. They were never going to sell the tech. Why would Google sell the goose that lays the golden egg? Yeah? They're going to sell the golden eggs. They're going to lease out the goose. They're not going to sell the goose. So anyway, the point is, it's no longer a rumor. It's no longer a speculation. It's out in the open. It has flesh to the bones. So now any notion that, oh, Stadia's going to close and they'll just sell off the tech, right? Kiboshed. Wrong. You were wrong. Of course you were wrong then, but now definitely, yeah? Google have come out and explained what the offering is. And Kel surprise, it's exactly what they said Stadia was going to be back, way back in February 2021. Yeah? Stadia Store and working with partners. It's exactly what they said they were doing. Here we are over a year later, and they're delivering on it. And it's got a name. They said back there, in 2021, we're expanding our efforts to help game developers and publishers take advantage of our platform technology and deliver games directly to the players. We see it as an important opportunity to work with partners seeking a gaming solution all built on Stadia's advanced technical infrastructure and platform tools. We believe this is the best path to building Stadia into a long-term, sustainable business that helps grow the industry. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, immersive stream for games. So now we know Stadia Store sitting under subscription business under the Google Group. Immersive stream for games sitting under Google Cloud. As I said, Google Cloud for gaming headed up by Jack Booster. Both powered and driven by the underlying Stadia tech developed by Google. Which means Google is more likely to invest further in that tech. They want it, Google want this to be the de facto operating system, if you want to call it something like that, the operating platform of cloud gaming platforms. They want it to be like the Android of cloud gaming platforms, if you like. Yeah. The platform, the tools that everybody uses. Anyway, they were the main headlines for me, the main takeaways and from the Google for Games Developer Summit. And, you know, it did generate largely positive press. Now, that's a relative statement, of course, when I say positive press, when it comes to Stadia. But it's partly because Google filled in the blanks. Yeah? We talked about nature abhors a vacuum and, you know, speculation, rumor, or I heard this, or no, they're deprioritizing, and then misinformation and misinterpretation and facsimile, and the original source gets, you know, more veracity gets less and less. Now Google have filled in the blanks. No. Right? We're definitely not going anywhere. We're staying here. Yeah, Stadia is not closing, right? Fact. And yes, we are licensing the tech, and it's called Immersive Stream for Games. Fact. Them's are the facts. Which means it's pretty hard. Part of the reason we've seen fairly positive press on this, or at least buzz about it, is because it's pretty hard for most of the press to interpret that in any other way. Now, before Stadia, Google have actually announced these things, people were making up all this stuff, yeah, to fit their narratives or whatever. Well, now Stadia have come out, Google have come out and said, right, we're improving all these things on the store. We're offering free trials. We're opening up the store so people can browse, to encourage people to kind of spend time on Stadia and look at the games on Stadia. Stadia's not going anywhere. We're bringing in 100 plus games this year, blah, blah, blah. More free trials, free demos. Great. Stadia store, not going anywhere. And yes, we are licensing out the tech at the same time. Immersive Stream for Games. There you go. Off you go, press. All the information you need. So the vast majority of the press have been fairly like, okay, we get it. Yeah. We can't really spin it any other way, really. Yeah. Because you've told us now. And apart from the, you know, totally misinformed and ignorant outliers, but hey, what are you going to do? They don't matter anyway. They're outliers for a reason. Most of the press reported reasonably accurately what was happening, and it got a fairly positive spin. But anyway, let me know what you think in the chat. Has it moved the needle for Stadia? Do you think we may see less AAA games on Stadia if a big publisher decides to set up their own store? Or does that matter? Will you be able to play anyway with your Stadia controller on the Capcom store if it's just a link to a publisher store? And say that can be accessed via Stadia. Does it matter? Yeah? Does it matter if I go to Stadia store and there's a link to Capcom and I click on it and play the game, or it takes me to the Capcom store and I play the game using my Stadia controller? Does that make a difference? Not really. I said, we're going to see, you know, we'll see hybrid models, as I said. Some will be standalone stores. Some will be things like AT&T, like a behind, some sort of subscription base or sign up to a service. Others will be, you know, could be a subscription and you buy the games, all these sort of things. But there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's have a look at chat, see what chat's been going on about. Let me know what you think. Just close that down. Let me know what you think. Right, let's have a look at what chat. Lot to unpack. Ray's in the house, everybody. It's all right. Ray's in the house. Yeah, do we think Lamote... Look, it's got to be a pro title, hasn't it? Got to be a pro title. Stadia Adventure. Yes, I've been watching... have I? Yeah, they have been doing some sort of playthroughs, haven't they, of the Lamote Master Chronicles. It is very positive news from the developer. We know, it's good to see a developer, a guy who said, so that guy from Koei-Ken, bought the Founders Edition, and as I say, he's been playing it, and he founded the company. So, yeah. Stadia porting bar is lower, and it will continue to get lower as well. They'll constantly approve it. So that the other talk that was held, so one of the talks was about, porting to Windows. And that's very much R&D, the way I look at it. I remember doing like a management consultant book I read, and it talked about the 3 pillars of growth. Your first pillar is your current business. Your second pillar is the sort of future business, and your third pillar is R&D. And your future business becomes your new business. Your R&D becomes your future business, and new R&D starts. And so that cycle goes on. The three steps of growth, or something like that. 3 pillars of growth, 3 steps of growth. It's some, management consultant book. Anyway, that porting, Windows games directly is R&D. And between what we have in terms of the low-end porting now and the press a button and a Windows game plays on Stadia, between then and now is a journey where the porting process becomes even easier. That's the R&D bit, and eventually that will be the future bit, if that makes sense. I hope you're following in my management consultant speak there, ladies and gentlemen. But there we go. Yeah. Metro Exodus is one of my favorite games on Stadia. Yeah, it was like an Ann Summers. Somebody told me what they're like, but it was. It's like you're reluctant to go in. You're a bit embarrassed. I've never been in an Ann Summers, honestly. But yeah, like you want people to come in. When you think about it, it's like, it was frustrating because if you say somebody's moaning about Stadia and they're never going to try it, and you send them a link, and then the first thing it asks them is to sign up. And it is a bit, I understand why, because they want people to sign up. But if the data is telling them that actually that's a turn off, talking of Ann Summers, then, lol, then, having an open shop window is much better. They do it in Amsterdam. Hey, I hope they're consolidating things like click the link and play. Exactly. Now you've got that link, you can start. This is what we said about having on YouTube, having that link on YouTube. Now it makes sense. But I think part of the emphasis on Stadia is to developers and publishers to use that link. Yeah. So saying to them, if you've got a YouTube, you put it on. I don't think it's about Stadia necessarily sticking that link everywhere. I think what they're trying to do is provide the tools for publishers and developers to say, you stick the link where you want. You tweet out the link. Like Grime did. Yeah. Hey, Ken, Mr. Okay. Oh, JP Star. I could, that's a different, you'll have to watch, I think, you have to watch the Who the Hell Needs Food podcast I do with Latest Fuels. We'll have another one soon, and then we'll probably do a comparison video on that, talk about it. But I have my favorites. Off subject though, JP Star, but I do have my favorites. Currently, I'm using Huel Black Edition, if you must know. But it's because I'm trying to lower my carbs and up my protein. Players to payers, exactly. Oh, that's it. Thank you, Stadia Adventure. Hunting Simulator. That's the one. Chariot Man Gaming, how you doing? Make sure you check out Chariot Man Gaming's YouTube videos. Always worth checking out. Rumour lit up Twitter with an entirely different crowd. Ooh. 45,000 plus videos on that top 7 video. What video is that? Oh, yeah, the top 7. Oh, yeah, the 7 takeaways. Yeah. A lot is coming. And I think we're just going to see more and more people, more and more publishers and developers using that the trial thing. I mean, Stadia literally said, just let us know how long you want. So it's like minimal programming. And I think it's all on Stadia side. They've got it all set up. You just say, oh, yeah, I don't know, 60-minute trial. Yep, there you go. 60-minute trial, publisher. Your game has a free trial now. Here's the link. Go off. Make honey. I can see developers having a trial in the website, just click and launch without having to say it's Stadia. Yeah. Then you exit and choose where to buy. Oh, yes, Overcooked. Overcooked's a great game. A great game for Stadia, I think. It's it works so well on other platforms, and it's just going to work really good on Stadia. Exactly. This is the long-term thing. Exactly what was said on February the 21st on that blog post, Christopher Torres. Working with partners, they've done it. They've exactly said what they've done it. You just check the Capcom. Any luck? Yoshida, konbanwa. Yokoso. Wow. Always hating on stage, but I think we've seen, there's a lovely, they're just reporting when they've got facts directly delivered to them from Stadia. Yeah. That sort of answers some of the speculation, even if their speculation's been incorrect. There's not much place for the media to go, really, the press to go. They've got all the information that they needed. Oh, I've heard they're selling off the tech. No, they're not selling off the tech. They're licensing the tech, and it's called, and Google have announced it. And what? I thought they were all keeping it secret, and they were just going to close Stadia. No, they've announced it. Stadia Store's not going anywhere. They announced it. Oh. Well, what are we going to write about? I guess we just have to write these facts up. Send, edit, publish, whatever. I watch YouTube videos and Twitter and the web pages all the time. That video can easily be a game. Exactly. Click and link. Imagine, you could play within Twitter. No, that wouldn't work. Don't know. UFC. We could do. I don't know. We're going to get WWE. Exactly. I mean, it's just going to be commonplace. I was watching a video about people reacting, like American news channels reacting to the internet when it was first, and chat shows, like when it was first a thing, and somebody asking Bill Gates, what is it? What's this internet thing? And how does it work? What, people send you messages? How does it work? And like, it's laughable now because you just think like internet's everywhere. Like it's common sense. And it's just like streaming movies. There was a point where people didn't do it. Didn't even conceive of the idea of streaming movies or Netflix and things like that. But now it's just everywhere. Amazon will push it. Stadia will push it. Other platforms will push it, maybe using Stadia technology, immersive stream technology. Yeah, exactly. Very highly likely will be around in 5 years. Trendfoit. Very highly likely. I think it will evolve. It'll change. It'll move with the times. But, it's on. So the other thing about the links as well is it just makes. Imagine you start having free trials on your LG C1 or your Samsung TV when the app comes on that. That's where it's going to make a difference. When recommended free come up and you go, oh, and you play, and all it will ask you for is to connect a controller, Xbox, PlayStation, connect a controller to your TV. And most people go, oh, I've got an Xbox controller or whatever. It might not have a Stadia controller, it might have an Xbox controller, a PlayStation controller, connected to TV, and a free trial through their TV. So it's not just, on the computers and things like that. This is the key thing. So when you've got your smart TV with it, hey, I reckon, this new TV series is on Netflix. We've already saw it on the Chromecast with Google TV when Stadia first launched on it. It had recommended Destiny 2. Whereas when you pressed it, you'd have to then go, you have to sign up for Stadia. Whereas now, if it's a free trial, it'll just say, connect a game controller to your TV. Another way for people to try. When will the controller be Bluetooth? I don't think it will be, because it's a bit old school Bluetooth, to be honest, Cameron Allen. It's a bit 20th century. The great thing about the Stadia is it's Wi-Fi, which means it connects directly with the game and doesn't go via past through another device before then going to see the game. I know people would love to have a Bluetooth Stadia controller, but to me, I think it's a bit retro. No problem, Chariot Man Gaming. You make good video. We've got to support each other in the Stadia community. He makes great videos, Chariot Man Gaming. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Exciting times. Stadia Adventure, I purposely not talked about Ubisoft Scalar cloud games. But true, they will be a cloud game entity of some sort. They'll have to be. And again, whether Ubisoft have their own cloud game, because a lot of people, I'll talk about it very briefly. Again, Ubisoft, cloud gaming, Scalar, people jump to a lot of conclusions, run off on it. Reddit's decided they know exactly what this is, and all this kind of nonsense. And I see a lot of misinformation out there about it. What this is really about is a cloud gaming tool that Stadia have talked about when Stadia Games and Entertainment about what games may be able to do. And this is very much that side of it, the development side of it, being able to, create massive worlds with thousands of players in very simple form. That's the most obvious, sort of naive, simple form of it. But that's what they're talking about, using lots of different sort of servers in the cloud to run different bits that you can't do having one central device under the TV, or you're on your computer. It just doesn't have the compute power to do it. But the cloud has the compute power to create massive worlds with thousands of people in it, et cetera, et cetera. And Ubisoft are developing this tool, not just for them, but potentially for other developers to say, hey, this could be the future of gaming. But you're absolutely right, Stadia Adventure. It's going to have to be played in the cloud in some way, in some form. Unless the very base game is on a platform, but then platform is going to have to communicate with the cloud. So to me, the cloud is the obvious thing. Now, whether Ubisoft create their own way of getting into that game or launch it with Luna or Stadia, I don't know. There's a lot to be decided. Stadia Luna could be the conduit between the cloud and the game. It could be a game that you download, but obviously need the cloud to play. That makes sense. So it could be a hybrid mix. We don't know. I think the most likely is it's all in the cloud, but we'll see. Anyway, I just think they're two separate. It's interesting because it's cloud gaming technology, but I think it's separate from Stadia right now. And until we get more details or see what the plans are, we don't know. And as long as Ubisoft are still best buddies with Stadia, hey, could we see this, partnership? Could we see an entity? Could we see the game that, if they develop a game using this technology, could we see it on Stadia? Maybe. Too many unknowns yet, though. Anyway, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Apologize. Thank you for everybody who was in the chat tonight, watching me live. and get involved in the chat. Really, really appreciate it. I apologize if it was a bit rambly in places today. I lost my thread. And I was writing this still 10 minutes before the show. Been very busy. But hopefully it made sense. Hopefully you agree with some. Hopefully it caused some discussion and some thoughts. That's what we try to do on the show. So let us know in the comments below if you're watching it later. Share it out, of course. Get out there. Let people know that the great Stadia Monday Night Chat had lots to say, as ever, and all of that. And hey, ladies and gentlemen, why not do this all again, same time, same place, next week? Thank you for being with us, and I'll see you around very, very soon.